In an August 3rd press release, the U.S. Department of Justice confirmed that 6 Mississippi police officers had been involved in and pled guilty to the torturing and abuse of 2 black men. Let's have a look. According to the press release, 2 federal criminal informations were unsealed today, charging 6 former Mississippi law enforcement officers with a total of 16 felonies stemming from the torture and physical abuse of 3 Rankin County residents in 2 separate, unrelated incidents. Those 16 felonies include civil rights conspiracy, deprivation of rights under color of law, discharge of a firearm during a crime of violence, conspiracy to obstruct justice, and obstruction of justice. In federal court this morning, 6 defendants, 5 former members of the Rankin County, Mississippi Sheriff's Office, Chief Investigator Brett McAlpin, 52, Narcotics Investigator Christian Dedman, 28, Lieutenant Jeffrey Middleton, 46, Deputy Hunter Elward, 31, Deputy Daniel Opdyke, 27, and 1 former member of the Richland, Mississippi Police Department, Narcotics Investigator Joshua Hartfield, 31, pleaded guilty to all charges against them. The defendants admitted that on January 24th, without a warrant or any exigent circumstance, kicked in the door and entered a home in Braxton, Rankin County, Mississippi, where 2 men, MJ and EP, were residing. The defendants handcuffed and arrested the men without probable cause to believe they had committed any crime, called them racial slurs, and warned them to stay out of Rankin County. Further, the defendants punched and kicked the men, tased them 17 times, forced them to ingest liquids, and assaulted them with a dildo. During the incident, Dedman fired his gun twice to intimidate the men. At the conclusion of the incident, Elward surreptitiously removed a bullet from the chamber of his gun, forced the gun into MJ's mouth, and pulled the trigger. The unloaded gun clicked but did not fire. Elward racked the slide, intending to dry fire a second time. When Elward pulled the trigger, the gun discharged. The bullet lacerated MJ's tongue, broke his jaw, and exited out of his neck. As MJ was bleeding on the floor, the defendants did not provide medical aid, but instead gathered outside the home to devise a false cover story and took steps to corroborate it, including planting a gun on MJ, destroying surveillance video, spent shell casings and taser cartridges, submitting fraudulent drug evidence to the crime lab, filing false reports, charging MJ with crimes he did not commit, making false statements to investigators, and pressuring witnesses to stick to the cover story. 3 of the defendants admitted in court that they were members of the Goon Squad, a group of RCSO officers who were known for using excessive force and not reporting it. Additionally, during their court appearances this morning, Dedman, Elward, and Opdyke each also pleaded guilty to a criminal information, charging them with 3 additional federal felony offenses, including deprivation of rights under color of law and discharge of a firearm in furtherance of a crime of violence. The charges arise out of an incident on December 4, 2022, in which Dedman beat and tased a white man and fired a gun near his head to coerce a confession, while Elward and Opdyke failed to intervene. The defendants in this case tortured and inflicted unspeakable harm on their victims, egregiously violated the civil rights of citizens who they were supposed to protect, and shamefully betrayed the oath they swore as law enforcement officers, said Attorney General Merrick B. Garland. The Justice Department will hold accountable the officers who abuse the public trust that is essential to public safety. Apparently, this is par for course down in Mississippi, as they have a goon squad that just carries on activities like this all the time. But that begs the question, why did they go to this particular house on this particular day with these particular two black men who they tortured? To answer that question, I don't know if it's accurate or not, but we'll go to a Vox article, which is citing the Associated Press. The officers were reportedly told to go to the house on January 24th, 2023 by a Rankin County deputy who'd received a complaint that the two black men were in the house with a white woman. Court documents note that Parker was a longtime friend of the woman and aiding in her care, per the Associated Press. So the reason they were at this house isn't because they were suspecting that a crime was being committed, but merely because there was a white woman at the house and they had a report that two black men were there with her. I'm just going to let that sink in for a second. So they planted evidence after torturing these two men, all because they happened to be at the home of a white woman. I'm speechless, but hopefully you aren't. Drop a comment below. This is The Legal Good, and I'm out.